and unfortunate, the argument that the entire world is engaged in right now is the trolley problem. So right now, everybody in humanity is having a condition's been imposed upon them in which they have to solve the trolley problem. If you don't know what it is, just Google it rather than me explain it. But everybody has to solve the trolley problem, say what is the acceptable number of deaths. Then they have to go to the front of their classroom on the whiteboard, show them their solution for the problem, and get their unanimous agreement. So now I've got to say, look, I've got to go to the front of the classroom. I've got to draw a picture of the trolley going down the rails and say, look, I'm going to have to kill grandma and 5 other people, but I'll save Uncle Charlie and 20 other people. And you have to get unanimous agreement from the entire classroom that that's the acceptable death toll. And then we have to kill Grammy, but Uncle Chester can stay, right? It's craziness. That's what people are being pushed into. So the only way you can respond to this, the only way you can win this battle is don't allow yourself to participate in it. Don't allow other people to participate in it. The second people start talking about masks, they're already sucked into it and they're useless to you. They're already in the problem. They're already now trying to, when they start talking about masks, you know what they're doing? They're in the front of their classroom. You're a kid in that classroom, and they're trying to now explain to you their resolution of the trolley problem. Do you understand? Don't get into that classroom. Don't let them, and you've got to explain this to people. Get out of that classroom. But hopefully that makes sense to everybody, and you can replay it, but I'm probably going to delete all this. But so again, what I'm saying is that person now who's telling you, well, I told you about mass and China, whatever, they're useless anyway, right? But let's just, because then they want to do this, I told you so, and they're wrong because they were dealing with very imperfect information. So whatever, but nevertheless, so people today, the problems that they're engaged with is this trolley problem that they're engaged with currently, right? How do we fix this type of thing? They're engaged with that problem. Now they're going to say, well, we should only allow, those type of masks. You'll see a lot of people saying the efficacy of masks and these studies. And those studies are all very flawed in themselves. Even the studies that you like their outcomes or you don't like their outcomes, they're all very flawed. You can't allow yourself to be a participant in that. Don't play the trolley problem, and don't be eager to hear somebody else's solution to the trolley problem. People have to get out of it. You will never get out of it. They're going to continue doing this to you every freaking day for the rest of your life. It's never going back the way it was, ever. People got to think about that. But it just shows you we cannot get a solution. We can never go back to the way it was because of all these little stupid squabbles amongst people that are not particularly intellectually gifted. That's the worst part about it. And I can tell because I can always tell by the questions that people ask. I don't even care about people's answers. I don't pay attention to people's answers. I pay attention to the questions. And I just see that people do not have the intellectual effort. When you're going to get into a good dialectical type of interplay with somebody, you've got to be prepared to sweat your mind, and the other person has to be okay with sweating their mind. And that takes a lot of effort. And most people are too intellectually lazy to partake in sweating their mind. So the conclusion to all those conversations is always very operatic, which is like it's ironic. It's just nothing is ever resolved. So when I see a lot of these kind of people, they're not asking the right questions, so they're not getting the right answers, and it's absurd. It's just stupid, and it's just getting stupider. And these are the people that are now standing in the front of the room explaining their resolution to the trolley problem. I sound kind of pissed, right? Masks. So Toy Biederman. I kind of recognize that picture from somewhere, like a celebrity maybe. Masks aren't useless, but they aren't 100% effective. They reduce viral load. See Monica Gandhi. I'm not going to get into it. I'm sorry. I don't care about Monica Gandhi. I don't care about any of these people. I keep an extremely detailed log. And I'm not going to allow you, just as I said before, and hopefully you're here for it, to bring me into your solution for the trolley problem. Does that make sense to everybody? That I think Troy Biederman is thoughtful and compassionate in their comment, but I'm not going to allow Troy Biederman to bring me in to see the resolution of their trolley problem. I don't want to be in that room. I don't want to see the resolution, and I'm certainly not going to agree to it. So Jesse Matchy, thank you again so much for being here. I really like that picture. By the way, so masks, no masks, that's not your battle. It's I'm not a participant in this. Look at what the morbidity rate on it is. Look at what the age is, and look at what the comorbidity. I'm an expert. I don't want to get started on it, but there's what's happening is that people like Fauci are being adored by these Pythagorean cosmogenic physicists, and it's an adoration that's a sickness. And again, I call it, Pythagorean cosmogenic, is that it's not science. It's not science. It's absurdity. It's kind of like you're listening to back in 1000 BC or whatever, and they used to talk about how the moons would travel because of the marrow of the earth or something, just some type of oddity, and they gave all these kind of mythological notions to science. So it's the same type of absurdity, but what he's doing is a common tactic of propaganda, which is he's not saying, none of the reports are saying anything that are outright lies. What they're doing is they're trying to sow discord through confusion. So they want to say things that are in conflict with things that they just said or things that somebody else said. They're doing that deliberately. That's deliberate because they want to sow confusion. You can't participate in it. Okay, so